Hello, and welcome back to Spin Cycle Live. I'm your host, Nathan Hale. Today is Tuesday, March 18th, 2025. This is a special episode because we did miss a show yesterday. I had a conflict that came up that made me unable to get down to my desk yesterday to be able to record a show for you. But we're back today with kind of our makeup episode for that. So this week we'll kind of a back-to-back of a Tuesday and a Wednesday episode. But let's get into it. I hope you're doing really, really good this week. And we have no time to waste. So let's pull up our first story. All right, so some heroic news coming out of the U.S. astronauts who were stranded on the International Space Station. So U.S. astronauts Butch Wilmore, Suni Williams are finally headed back to Earth after 9 months being stranded in space. This comes from the New York Post. So U.S. astronauts finally departed from the International Space Station early Tuesday to bring their long-awaited journey back home after spending more than 9 months stuck in space. Wilmore, 62, and Williams, 59, are aboard SpaceX's Crew Dragon capsule called Freedom, which is set to re-enter Earth's atmosphere Tuesday with a Florida splashdown around 5:57 p.m. according to NASA. So only about like an hour from now. So be on the lookout for that. The stranded pair, who were originally supposed to be in space for only 10 days last summer, are traveling home with fellow American Nick Hodge and Russian cosmonaut, I'm not even trying to pronounce his name, as they finish their tour on the Crew 9 mission. Here's some pictures of them if you want to see those. Wilmore and Williams have been stuck on the ISS since last June when their Boeing Starliner capsule suffered leaking and mechanical issues, forcing NASA to return the craft without anyone on board. Tumbling, while SpaceX serving as the only backup available to help bring the astronauts home. The duo have since had to await to hitch a ride on the return shuttle, which was scheduled to launch only after SpaceX's Crew 10 capsule arrived over the weekend to relieve them of their duties at the ISS. Elon Musk has claimed that plans to bring Wilmore Williams back earlier were shelved by former President Joe Biden, and that the mission had been marred by political mudslinging. Haven't heard that word in a while. So great story out of that. Once again, showing how SpaceX is really the premier American space company here in the United States. Far better than what NASA could do. What were these guys doing up there for that long? Where was NASA at during all this time? All right, they're not launching, return missions anymore, are they? They're contracting out to people like SpaceX. So good for SpaceX. Glad to see it. Glad that we got these Americans back home. And yeah, just a little light story kind of. Hello. What's going on? All right, should be good now. For some reason, my mic has been wanting to get unmuted on me. All right. Let's go into our next story. So U.S. paying El Salvador $6 million to jail hundreds of Venezuelan gang suspects. Pennies on the dollar. So this also comes from the New York Post. The Trump administration is paying roughly $6 million for El Salvador to jail the 238 Venezuelan gang suspects deported Sunday, according to the White House. That works out to be roughly $25,000 per detainee, a 43% discount on the average U.S. prison cost. Great deal to me. Quote, it was approximately $6 million to El Salvador for the detainment of these foreign terrorists, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said at her regular briefing Monday. Quote, I would point out that this is pennies on the dollar in comparison to the cost of life and the cost it would impose on the American taxpayer to house these terrorists and maximum security prisoners here in the United States of America. The deportees are suspected to be being involved in Tren de Aruglu, however you pronounce it. I don't know how to say that word. A criminal group that Trump designated last month as a foreign terrorist organization. Their flight closed in on its destination as a federal judge attempted to order it to return to the U.S. with the inmates on board. So I think this is a great deal. Send them out of here, right? We don't need these people in our country anymore. El Salvador seems to be doing a pretty good job at jailing people down there. So send them off. Sounds great. Sounds like a great deal, especially since we're paying less money for them and everything. This sounds like a great deal for me. All right. So it brings us into kind of the reason why I was wanting to do a show on Tuesday anyways, and why I wasn't totally upset that we didn't get to one on Monday, was the Kennedy files. So Trump says his administration is set to release JFK files with no redactions. So this is from AP. So President Donald Trump says files related to the 1963 assassination of President John F. Kennedy will be released Tuesday without any redactions, making good on a promise he made during his campaign. Trump told reporters Monday that his administration will be releasing 80,000 files, though it's not clear how many of those are among the millions of pages of records that have already been made public. He did not give further details on the release. He also said he doesn't believe anything will be redacted from the files. So researchers estimated that 3,000 files or so haven't been released, either in whole or in part. And last month, the FBI said that it had discovered about 2,400 new records related to the assassination. This is supposed to be coming out today. All right. I want to know where the JFK files are at. This is one of the reasons why I voted for Trump. Where are they? Are they going to be redacted or not? Right? We said that we were supposed to be getting the Epstein files. We got the Epstein files and they were all redacted. They didn't do us anything, right? I mean, you might as well just given us a blank page. There's nothing on them, right? So I'm genuinely interested if this is going to be the same thing happens where they're all going to be redacted again, and this wasn't in fact truthful what Trump was saying. Are we even going to get them today? Are we going to get them this week, right? When is this going to come out? Right? I was expecting to wake up this morning and the files were going to be released 9 a.m., Tuesday morning. We haven't gotten them yet. Where I want to know where the files are at for what's happening here. I'm switching over my microphone because for some reason the one that I currently use keeps disconnecting me. I'm all heated up about these JFK files. I want to see them. What's in there, right? And does Ted Cruz's father make an appearance in any of them, right? That's truly what I want to know. So that's all I want to say about that. I had this placeholder spot right here. I was hoping to have a great grand big story for you all about, oh my gosh, here's the JFK files. Here's all the things that we learned. But I got nothing. I got nothing. I wish I had more for you all. Tune back tomorrow. Maybe we'll have some more then. We'll see tomorrow if we even get them today or not. So who knows? Maybe they'll come out at 5 o'clock. Couldn't tell you. All right. So this comes from Just the News. So Health and Human Services finds Maine guilty of Title IX violations for letting males play in girls' sports. So Maine's Department of Education, Maine's Principal Association, and Greeley High School have 10 days to, quote, voluntarily commit to the resolution or risk referral to the Department of Justice, HHS says. The Department of Health and Human Services determined that Maine, that the Maine Department of Education, Maine's Principal Association, blah, 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 I already read that, each violated Title IX by letting males play in girls' sports on the basis of gender identity, HHS said on Monday. The investigations are less than a month old, prompted in part by the MPA flatly refusing to follow President Trump's gender identity and sports executive order, and Trump's heated exchange with Democrat Governor Janet Mills on whether Maine will comply. HHS's office or Civil Rights said it sent each entity a determination letter that, quote, offers them an opportunity to voluntarily commit within 10 days to resolve the matter through a signed agreement or risk referral to the Department of Justice for appropriate action. It did not post the letter. The Maine Department of Education may not shrink its obligations under federal law by ceding control of its extracurricular activities, programs, or services to the Maine Principals Association. Acting OCR Director Anthony Arcavella wrote in a press release. The subhead on the press release says the conclusion, quote, foreshadows enforcement in federal court, but HHS didn't elaborate. The department's press email posted in Monday's press release now claims it's an unmonitored inbox and directs media to fill out a comment form. HHS did not immediately respond to a query by Just the News seeking the enforcement letter and its elaboration on how the action, quote, foreshadows enforcement in federal court. This is great. We need to have these people held accountable for violating the law. We don't want men and women's sports, right? The Democrats were all too happy to follow, Joe Biden's, redefinition of Title IX as soon as he did it, right? But as soon as Trump wants to change anything, all of a sudden they're against it, right? So, we have to clean this up. We have to move ahead of all of this, and we have to get men out of women's sports. This is not fair to all the female athletes playing these sports, right? It's not fair to the male athletes that they're allowed to go and play in women's sports and just dominate, right? We've seen this time and time again. So I actually honestly hope that Maine gets students of the Stone Age for not following this order. I think it would send a great signal to the rest of the country that, hey, you better fall in line with what the White House is pushing out. All right, and our last story that we're going to cover is going to be kind of a shorter episode today. I want to keep things kind of snappy. So this is from the Daily Wire. So Biden pardons were signed with autopen while he was on vacation, watchdog finds. A government watchdog is sounding the alarm on former President Joe Biden's liberal use of an autopen to sign official documents, saying it raises concerns about who controlled the presidency given Biden's cognitive decline. Biden pardoned 6 criminals on December 30th, 2022 with the, quote, exact same autopen signature while the president was vacationing and golfing in the U.S. Virgin Islands, according to the Heritage Foundation's oversight project. Note, they all say they are signed in the city of Washington, the oversight project posted on X. Around the same time, an omnibus spending bill was flown to Biden in the Virgin Islands to sign, but the pardons all appear to be signed by autopen, the watchdog said. Whoever controlled the autopen controlled the presidency, the oversight project said. I think this raises a lot of concerns as to the pardons that he's talking about are for his family, are for Fauci, are for a lot of these top government officials that we feel like committed some crimes here, right? So I think this raises a lot of concern as to did he actually intend to sign those? Was he in the right mental state to do them? Where has Joe Biden been at, by the way? Has anyone heard from him since he left the White House? I haven't heard a single peep out of Joe Biden. Where has he gone to? What is he doing? I've heard more from Barack Obama in the past 2 months than I have from Joe Biden, and he served years ago, right? So, however, several controversial pardons, including those for Dr. Anthony Fauci, General Mark Milley, and the January 6th committee, and other Biden family members were all signed with the same autopen signature, Kyle Bronson, chief counsel of the Oversight Project, told the Daily Wire. So here you go. So Bronson said that using the autopen to sign presidential pardons is particularly troubling since the authority to issue them rests solely with the president as a constitutional principle. Quote, you have to look at it in the context of President Biden's mental decline, Bronson said, noting that the special counsel Robert Herr report last year called Biden elderly man with a poor memory. That's why this is so concerning. So here's a photo of the different signatures that were put out, and you can see how they're all literally exactly the same. I mean, they're just copied and pasted right on there, and I think this is concerning just because it raises issues of, well, were these people actually pardoned or not, right? I mean, if this was a forged signature, then it wouldn't be accurate, right? What was there? Where was the notary at, right? I had to go and get a notary to sign my ballot to be able to vote in 2024. Where's the notary on signing pardons? I would argue that a pardon is far more important to know the accuracy of than necessarily a vote that's in my name, right? I had to go all the way down to the UPS store, wait in line, get someone to look at it, get someone to look at my ID and everything, right? If I'm having a notary for that, where were they at, right? Where's the evidence that Joe Biden actually signed these, right? And I'm just curious. I wonder why it took so long for people to realize this. It's been several months now since this happened, so it's just interesting. I don't know. I don't think anything will come of it. I don't think that all of a sudden these pardons will be overturned by any means. But I think it certainly just continues to pin down that Joe Biden's legacy is a failed one. He's a failed president, and he's one of the worst the United States has ever had. And I'm going to be interested to see what comes of this. I mean, is this going to spawn a huge lawsuit that could potentially overturn these pardons? Because if so, I mean, let's sue the crap out of Fauci then, right? Let's hold him responsible for the lies he told during COVID. Same thing with a lot of these people. Same thing with Joe Biden's family, right? He signed all these pardons without there being any charges floating around preemptively because he knows they've all committed crimes, right? So let's overturn, let's prosecute them, right? They went after Trump. Let's go after these guys now, right? So that's kind of what I think about that. And that's all I got for you all. So thank you for tuning in to our special episode, Spin Cycle Live. I know it was a little shorter than we're all used to, but I was hoping to be talking about the JFK files for a long time, and we didn't have any of those. So that cut out about 10 minutes of time from the show that I had allocated towards that. So tune back in tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have some more information on those then. This has been a very special episode of the show, usually not here on a Tuesday, but I appreciate you all sticking around, putting up with me, and continue to watch the show. Make sure you share, follow with friends. Let me know how I'm doing. Send me a DM on X. That's where I'm most active at. That's where all of our show updates are. So if you're ever wondering where the show's at, what's going on, if there's going to be a special one or anything, follow me on X. Check my X page and everything. I'll always post updates on there. Try to post them, somewhat timely. Yesterday was a bit last minute just because of the situation I was in. But I appreciate you all watching. We'll see you back here Wednesday. I have been Nathan Hale. This has been Spin Cycle Live, and we will see you all back here on Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Peace out.